It was like being caught in a tsunami. He took a hard punch to the face and his vision went blurry. Before he could react, he was hit again, twice, thrice, with punches and kicks. Damn it! Don't die! The moment his first assailant paused, another joined the assault. 4 blows, 5 blows, 6. Minorikawa lost count somewhere around 30? A metallic taste filled his mouth and he could feel his consciousness fading. All the strength was being battered from his body. He couldn't even tell if he was standing on his feet or lying on his back. Then, finally, he felt himself crumple to the floor. Man, those are some really strong guys, huh? Beating a man on the ground. Even then the beating did not let up. As he writhed helplessly, the young man kicked him in the gut over and over. "Stop it," he heard Chiaki shriek. "You're going to kill him." Just because I wanted to read her copy? Are you serious? That's a bad end. Or is it? I guess it is. It looks like one. Eventually Minorikawa forced himself to go limp. Finally the kicking stopped. "Oh crap," one of the thugs muttered, sounding panicky. "Did we take this a bit too far? Are you serious?" "Mr. Mino," Chiaki rushed to Minorikawa's side sobbing. "Why is Katayama so cold? Look at him, not having any reaction to this. Please," she cried out, "answer me." He held his breath and said nothing. "Mr. Mino." Tears streaked down her cheeks. She shook him desperately. "Don't worry," he gasped out at last, holding up a hand to stave her off. She let out a yelp of surprise, staring at his battered face. He could feel blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. He turned his grisly visage on the gang members as he painfully rose to his feet. "That's all you can do." Abruptly, Minorikawa broke into peals of mocking laughter. Mr. Mino?" Chiaki stared at him aghast. He only laughed the harder. It seems he took a few too many blows to the head. The poor thing. Katayama averted his eyes, unable to watch. Minorikawa shot out an accusing finger out at the crowd. "Looks like I win this round." What? Suzumu blinked dumbstruck. "Don't you get it?" Minorikawa said, thickly around his bruised tongue. "What am I saying? You're a bunch of idiots. Now then, if you'll pardon me." "Oh, I get it." I don't know. I don't know who's talking half the time, I'm sorry. Minorikawa was halfway to the exit when Katayama's exclamation rang out. "You were planning all along to let these guys beat you up, huh?" Minorikawa jerked to a halt, his shoulders trembling. "What? You knew they turned down the interview? And so by letting yourself get beat up, you'd have something to put in an article, yeah? It's a bit bogus, maybe, but I guess it's one way to get material to fill your pages." Minorikawa broke out into a cold sweat. "Shut up, you idiot!" But Katayama continued with his oh-so-brilliant analysis. "You sure pulled a fast one on this gang here. I wonder what sort of headline your piece should have. The twilight of Shibuya's legendary street crew. Former vigilante squad, now mere gang of common thugs. Something like that, maybe?" Now they're gonna kill him. Suzumu stared daggers at Minorikawa. "Go on, I dare you to write that up. Then we really will put your ass in the ground." He moved to block the path to the door, clutching a broken beer bottle in one hand. "You moron!" Minorikawa bellowed at Katayama. "I was this close to pulling it off." "Ah, well, that's a shame, isn't it?" Katayama replied. Minorikawa rolled his eyes. "Gee, you think?" Suzumu slowly advanced on him, beer bottle at the ready. "Incidentally," Katayama said, "you have 40 minutes and 7 seconds left." Whoa, that was a quick beating then. Good luck. Minorikawa hung his head. Was everything futile at this point? Oh. Hopeless, pointless, ineffectual. And I could hear a door opening. "Alright, cool your jets. I'd say that's quite enough." It's the taxi driver. He's gonna be a badass. Suzumu stopped and spun around. Kimisuka had entered the bar. The taxi driver stared out sternly from behind his sunglasses. All the young men in the bar fell silent. Minorikawa and his companions exchanged glances. "Oh man, you?" Suzumu's face twisted up in awkward embarrassment. Kimisuka's tone was light and playful, but intimidating nevertheless. Well, hey now. That's no way to address your teacher. What? Teacher? Minorikawa blurted in disbelief. Kimitsuka nodded. Yeah, until last year. I used to be a teacher. But I got into a bit of a dispute with my school, so I moved on. These guys in here are all former students of mine. Sorry that there's such a bunch of good-for-nothings. Wow, Chiaki said. I'd have never guessed. I thought, since I wasn't a teacher anymore, it wasn't my place to butt in. But I couldn't sit idly by and let one of my customers take a beating. Kimitsuka turned back to Suzumu. This guy totally played you. Every last one of you. Suzumu bit his lip in frustration. Still, it's hard to imagine anyone would want to take a beating from this many guys all at once. It's hardly your fault for falling for it. Kimitsuka had switched gears from taxi driver to street smarts mentor. You guys lost this one, he said. And for that, you need to give him his interview. No way, Suzumu looked disgusted. Look here, kid, Kimitsuka said. Let yourself save some face and help the man out. And maybe you won't come off as a bunch of total idiots in this article. He flashed an amicable grin. Well, when you put it that way, fine, alright. Suzumu blew out his breath in resignation. Suzumu, you can't just let yourself cave like that. Oh, it's him. The remark had come from a particularly nasty-looking young fellow who slouched on the bar sofa. Minorikawa recognized him, the kid he'd encountered earlier that afternoon, wandering around with a wooden cudgel. You shut up, Kiryu, Suzumu said. So what, you just gonna let SOS make a mockery of itself? Kiryu demanded. The gang leader let out an annoyed growl but said nothing. And you still think you've got what it takes to run Shibuya? Shut up! I've already said I'll do it. Kiryu sneered sullenly at Suzumu's outburst. Oh, he's openly questioning the leader? That's not good. Mr. Mino. Minorikawa was just letting out a sigh of relief at being able to get his interview when Chiaki scurried back up to him. Please, can you read my copy now? Her face showed a strange mixture of confidence and unease. Alright, he said resignedly. Let me see it. The proofreading deadline was drawing steadily nearer. Still, if the piece wasn't good enough, he'd have to make her rewrite it again. It was going to compromise on quality. What? Bracing himself, Minorikawa stared at the monitor. Chiaki swallowed hard, so anxious that it was audible. It's great! Or is it? I can't tell since I'm not reading it. Minorikawa gave the piece a fast once over, then read it again more closely. When he was done, he closed his eyes, considering. Chiaki held her breath, waiting for his response. It's okay. She looked back at him blankly for a long moment. Really? It's really okay. Is it really okay? It really is really okay. Minorikawa watched in surprise as she broke down in tears. Oh, thank you so much. Whoa. Guess that's a compliment for her. Chiaki bowed profusely. He gave her an affectionate little ruffle atop her head. She wiped at her face with her palms, scrubbing the tears away. So I guess I never really told you what sort of articles I want to write and all? No, I don't think you have. Well, I mean, I want to write socially conscious exposés like you do, Mr. Mino. And so, to hear you say that an article I wrote is okay, that makes me really, happy, I guess? Or maybe moved? Her eyes were still bright with emotion. Well then, really? There was actually another writer who took inspiration from his work and who strove to be like him. Minorikawa had never thought a day like this would come. It was a peculiar feeling. He'd always been the follower, chasing after interviews in order to be more like Toyama. It made him feel both bashful and proud that the skill and soul he'd honed might be passed on to the next generation. Right, I should be off. Who's saying this now? Okay, it's him. Kimitsuka gave Minorikawa a slight nod. Minorikawa returned the gesture, but more deeply. You really have been a tremendous help today. I'm not sure where I'd even be right now if you hadn't been there for me. Oh no, not at all. I was just driving a customer around to where he asked me to go. Oh, that's right. I still owe you a fare. Opening his wallet, Minorikawa saw he had only a 10,000 yen bill. Come on, dude. Still, now was no time to be frugal. He drove you around all day. I think 10,000 yen is the least you could give him. Keep the change, he said as he handed it over. But even as he said it, Kimizuka was already handing him some money back. Here, I insist. The driver had already counted out the exact change in advance. You really are a pro, huh? Minorikawa took the money and stuffed it into his pocket. Whoa, that was a cheap taxi ride. Jesus. We'll meet again. Somewhere out there on the streets of Shibuya. Kimizuka pointed his index finger at Minorikawa's face. Minorikawa responded in kind. After that, the interview with SOS went off without a hitch. Now that the tension was diffused, these were just a bunch of ordinary young guys. The juxtaposition of their appearance and their behavior would make for an interesting piece. So, about what you said earlier, Suzumu said once Minorikawa had finished his questioning. About how I'm not the cream of the crop. Oh yeah, that. I just said it to get you worked up, don't worry about it. Well, let me just ask you what you really think then. How do you think I could be a better leader? I don't know. I'm not really the sort of guy who wants to stand at the top, you know. But I guess I can tell you 2 things that'll make things go more smoothly with you and your buddies. Suzumu leaned in, listening intently. Forgiveness. And also trust. Minorikawa chewed over his own words. The events of the day replayed in the back of his mind. He'd forgiven Toyama for his faked suicide, and trusted that he'd regain his reporter's edge. He'd forgiven Chiaki for her bungled interviews, and trusted that she'd grow as a journalist. In the end, that's what it was that had helped him through forgiveness followed by trust. Suzumu grumbled softly. Forgiveness and trust, huh? Doesn't sound so easy. People gravitate towards somebody who can handle things when they get tough. With that, Minorikawa got to his feet. Now we've got all the articles we need covered. Chiaki rushed over to his side. Well, I guess we still need Mr. Toyama's piece. Oh yeah. I just got off the phone with my office, Katayama said casually. It seems they've already received the data from him. Well, what? Guess he really can get the job done when he applies himself. Minorikawa felt an inner surge of pride. Now then. He indicated Katayama. How much time do we have left? 30 minutes remaining, Katayama replied, eyeing his watch. 30 minutes, huh? Looks like we might make it after all. Chiaki, laptop. Right. With a beaming grin, Chiaki held out her computer. Minorikawa got ready to start typing. But then a young man barged into the bar. It's Achi Endo. He's come to ask the members of SOS to help with the planned operation down at the Scramble. Interesting to know, I'm looking forward to that. Please give me a TBC, come on. Or rather, keep out. The newcomer hurried over to where Suzumu was sitting and promptly prostrated himself on the floor. Whatever this was about, it looked like a big deal. Who was this kid? The gang's feelings looked decidedly mixed. I need people to bring a guy down. I'm here to ask you for help. I know I have no right to ask you this, but please, I really need your help. Oh, my throat is not doing this today anymore. As Minorikawa listened to the young man's conversation with Suzumu, he could feel his blood start pumping. It sounded like they were talking about the terrorist plot in which Shibuya had become embroiled. Hey, Chiaki, he said quietly. Did you hear that just now? I did. Not sure I follow all of it, but it definitely has the whiff of a major scoop. Minorikawa shot at a daring grin. So what's the play here, Chiaki? We interview him, of course. But we only have 30 minutes left, right? So we take 10 minutes for our conversation, and use the remaining 20 to write up the piece. I'll help you out. You learned good, kiddo. Minorikawa ruffled Chiaki's hair again. They both blushed profusely, gripped by a surge of excitement. Why are you doing this? I can't make any sense of it whatsoever. Katayama stood peering at them skeptically. If you write up the piece you just did the interview for, you'll make a deadline. Why go out of your way to trouble yourself further? It's no trouble, Minorikawa said. I'm just doing what a professional does. That's all. Katayama let out a solemn sigh. Good grief. Clink. He looked at his pocket watch again, then snapped it shut. Well, if you aren't concerned about the time, then do as you like, I suppose. I'll admit you've made me quite curious to read this magazine you're putting together. Oh wow! Minorikawa and Chiaki rolled their eyes as they turned away. Already they were making their way over to Suzumu and his gang. The interviews aren't over until you have what you need. You refuse to let them be over. You spend every last second you have to do the best job you can. That's what being a professional journalist is all about. Minorikawa cracked his knuckles and stabbed between the two young men. Sounds like you've got an interesting story. Mind letting me hear it too? Holy shit, another end? I think I'm getting close to the end of Shibuya Scramble. What the fuck? Whoa. I hope it will all resolve nicely. So next time we'll continue with Achi and Kano and all the other guys. Bye.